it's time to get our guitars in tune. And there's an art to tuning, but the easiest way to start, and the way I recommend to start, is to use an electronic tuner. I've got one clipped onto the end of my guitar right here, just clips on the headstock, and I can look at it, and when I play a note, it shows me if it's in tune. Now, if it's flat, it's going to go lower. If it's sharp, it's going to go higher. You can watch that red light. So here's one trick, is I always want to tune from below the note. And so if it's sharp like that, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to go below the note first. And once I'm below, I'm going to give it a little stretch or bend it. And then I'm going to hit that and slowly bring it up. There we go. Now I'm playing harmonics, and I like those because they sustain and they seem to be accurate when you do tuning. You can also use an open note. That's good too. The other thing I would recommend is to not hit it hard. I mean, normally I love hitting the guitar hard, but for tuning, I want to hit it fairly softly, because what can happen if you hit it too hard, it can actually temporarily make the string go sharp, and then your tuning it gets all thrown off. So while you're tuning, hit softly, use a harmonic, and then just go through each string one at a time, and tune from below again, slowly. And now I want to show you something that happens if you do hit hard, like on this G string. Did you see how it jumped sharp briefly? It went into the red above it, and then it fell back down. That's what happens. When you hit a string really hard, it sort of goes, and then comes back down. So rather than have to deal with that, I just hit it nice and soft. And I always like to do it from below. And now especially the G string, which is the third string, and the sixth string, those are the trickiest to tune, and they tend to go sharp. So if anything, if I see the note kind of moving around, I'll err on the flat side of it. So right now that's pretty sharp, but if it's a little flat, I'm almost okay with that. Yeah, it's like that's all right. I don't mind if it's just a hair. Because see, when I hit it hard, it goes sharp a lot, and then it falls back down, and then you kind of have to wait until it's lost, until it's getting quieter, where you can really tell. Oh, another way I want to tell you about is the G chord. I think a great test, because we've been tuning visually, but it's got to sound good. So I would recommend a G chord. If a G chord sounds good, you're in tune. I think that's the best chord to tune to test out if you're in tune. If you don't know a G chord, we'll learn one coming up. But for now, let's use the electronic one. Now they also, besides these clip-on ones, they also make ones you can plug in on the floor, and you can stomp on them, and it mutes your guitar, which is kind of nice. Let's have a look at that. So let's have a look at this tuner on the floor. Now this one, right now, the tuner is off. So when I play a note, you hear it and you don't see anything. If I click on it, it's going to mute the note, which is kind of nice, because that way you can tune and your audience doesn't hear a big loud tuning note. But I can see the notes as I play them and tune them. And this is really nice and accurate, this big LED display. So I like this one a lot. And let's see, let's turn it back on now that we're in tune. Check it with our G chord. That sounds beautiful, doesn't it? All right. Now there is one other common way to tune on the guitar, and that is to press on the 5th fret of one of the strings, and then let's choose the 6th string, and that's going to be the same note as the 5th string. You can sort of tell if they're the same that way. I found that if you keep doing that, now there you run into some problems, because that string is actually tuned differently than the other ones. So when you get to your 3rd string, you're going to have to go down a half step to the 4th fret, and you can check if those are the same. Then back up to the 5th fret for the end. So that's. and you can adjust accordingly. I tend to stay away from this one a little bit. I like the electronic tuners, and I like the G chord as a test. And, but if you just want to check real quick to make sure nothing's really, really crazy. It's funny too, you can actually hear, if you listen to like a live Jimi Hendrix record or a lot of old live albums, you'll hear the people in the guitar player before the song. So I guess if it's good enough for Hendrix, it's good enough for anybody. So whether you want to use a tuner, the fourths, a tuner on your headstock, a G chord, or hire a guitar tech. One of those methods will definitely work and get you in tune and be ready to play.